far in my head because I didn't want the girlfriend to know that I was high.
We're live.
But I didn't. Wow, I thought this was talking randomly.
Okay, now you can.
It is talking random. I just
you have it titled thinking random.
Did I do thinking random again?
Number 3.
Son of a bitch! I can't believe I did it again.
Well, honestly,
3 weeks in a row.
It makes more sense than randomly. It makes more sense than randomly talking because you keep sending articles that you want us to talk about.
Well, true.
On a show called Randomly Talking.
You know what? It's thinking random episode 2 then, because I did it last week.
Well, it's episode 3. It's number 3.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm looking at it.
I know it says 3.
In your title.
That's what you got to think about. What if 3 was 2? No?
Then it would be 2.
No. Ba-doop-a-doo. Like, what if dog was spelled C-A-T?
I got really high today.
Blew up your spot. You want to tell everybody where I work? Okay, thanks.
Wait, do you want me to?
No, I do not. There's crazy people
I know it's
out
aquatic.
Hi,
It's
Jane.
aquatic. Jane!
Hi, George. No, I'm looking at.
Hey, I remember Jane.
Oh, I was like Jane and George.
Yeah, I was
when you
looking
said
at the
George,
chat,
I'm like
too.
that. I saw.
Yeah,
George
I
in a
knew.
chat
I knew
once.
it was a bit when she said George.
Yeah, once she said George. I love him though. Love him. Keep growing without me.
Oh man, I almost barely remember him at this point.
Good guy. Good guy. I think he's Greek. Or something. Ah, shit! I did it again. Hey, everybody! Welcome to episode 2 of Thinking Random.
Running wild.
It might seem like 3, but think about it. It's actually 2. Thinking Random. Get it?
Is the number of the show even right, or just everything screwed up right out of the gate?
Everything's wrong. It's actually we're done with talk.
Third. It's
Okay,
the third
so
show.
It's the 3rd show of Talking Random. I've just named it Thinking Random twice. And I'm guessing Thinking Random probably already had it. That's why I went with Talking. I'm like, no one has ever called a show Talking Random. You know?
That actually seems more likely than thinking random.
Damn it. Okay, then Thinking Random. Welcome. I'm in.
Oh, I think you took the opposite of what I meant for you to take away from that conversation we just had. It was not to keep this name.
We're talking random out though, and we're thinking, oh, shut
Then
up.
stop sending us articles that you want us to talk about if it's supposed to be random.
Well, it should be random, but you people are slow.
You
Not
people.
you.
So CM Punk got fired. Is that a random story that you want to talk about?
Who got fired?
Who cares about CM Punk? Ooh, I'm a wrestler.
What did he get fired from? Overrated?
No,
Hulk
he got
Hogan
fired
sells
for
weed.
beating up Luke Perry's son backstage at a show last week. So, and by the
Luke
way,
Perry,
I didn't
who
make
died?
a single.
I don't think he's going to say anything about it, though.
Yeah, he's dead. That sucks.
Yeah, but his
He's
son's
up to Luke
alive.
Perry.
Well, he didn't beat up his son because Luke Perry's dead.
It would be really messed up if he beat
That
up Luke
would be a
Perry's
weird
son
thing.
because
Like,
his
hey,
dad
your
died.
dad's dead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
It just so
Yeah.
happens his dad is dead.
Yeah, I mean he was on my wife's hall pass, but too bad.
I guess I win that one.
Yeah, winner.
No take backs.
No take.
About 8
back.
seconds
Can't
his
fill that
best
spot.
movie.
Oh man, those poor balls.
Hands down.
Hey Keith Howard, Walton will be joining us soon. And
Imagine if they tried to do that movie now and how the CGI would look so shitty when they had the answer way back then.
just go practical.
Yeah.
Yeah, ride a real bull, man.
Yeah, come on.
Mark Lazar.
Bitch.
How do you pronounce Mark's last name? How would you say it?
Who's Mark? Oh, McCallum. No, wait, no. Sorry. Maybe it hasn't been that long.
I say Lazar.
Luseth?
Is it Lazar? I don't know. French.
I would ignore it.
It sounds
yeah.
Frenchish to me, and I love the name, so I want to make sure. I
That
get it
sounds
right.
French to you?
Yeah, Lazar.
I've heard it mispronounced. It's pronounced as Lazarth for so long that even though I'm looking at it, reading it, and knowing that's not how you pronounce it, that's all I still say.
But I always say
you're
Lazar.
pronouncing it like it's Papados. There's no X or shit in X or anything in there. It's a TH. I don't think the French make the TH song of ugh.
Small Time Republic. Tune in next week for Talking Random 8. Thank you, buddy.
Although I've
Thank
never
you.
seen TH in French
share
writing
it.
before. Do they have a different alphabet? Does it look different?
You have a different alphabet. How are you doing, Tina?
I'm doing pretty well, working and stuff.
That
Yeah.
was deep. That's
Yeah,
talking
sorry.
random.
Riveting.
Riveting. How about you, sir?
Ooh,
It looks like
randomly
you
riveting.
changed your background a little bit, like you're playing the "I won't look at you" guys thing. Like,
Yeah,
I won't look
actually,
at you.
I just moved my camera slightly to the left, and it shows
Back.
a little bit more now. So
And to
instead
the
of just
So
being,
that door's
right
always
in my
been there?
face. Yeah,
Is that-
now
is-
I'm now more.
That's
of a
not a
3D
false door to
perspective.
nowhere.
Nope. This
Okay.
is actual stuff that was behind me this whole time.
What movie is this from? Back and to the left, a clown.
It sounds familiar, but I don't know.
JFK, the Oliver Stone movie. I didn't hear.
It's ripping it off. Back and to the left, back and to the left, a clown.
Oh, actually, yeah. I think that does sound familiar.
What up, Jim? You might know it. You might not. We are
Dodgeball.
live tonight on Rumble and
Man, that was such a random
YouTube.
question you asked us. Guy.
random. It's all about random. Mark.
Wait, we're on Rumble. That means I can say the N word, right? Oh, damn it.
Oh,
Whoa.
Never mind.
We're still on YouTube.
I hope
What's
this
up,
doesn't
Mark?
get uncomfortable because Mark and we had a little tiff the other day on Twitter. I had to correct him on something.
And what was that?
Yeah.
Let's hear it, boys.
Yeah, you can tell them about it.
Oh,
man.
okay. So yeah, so Mark was trying to criticize the Ahsoka show and their training for the Force or whatever by
Yeah.
using Donnie Yen in Rogue One as an example. Like he loved the Force. Why didn't he do it? Without realizing the Force does not come in Braille, you bigot.
Oh my god.
Wah.
Only Matt.
Thank you. It was
I hit the
better.
wrong button.
It
That
was
was the
better in
good one.
print.
I've heard a lot of excuses, but that one definitely takes the cake, my man.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. I mean,
Oh man,
it was
that show's so
Biodome.
bad.
Thank you,
dude.
brother.
Steven?
Biodome.
Hey, man.
Oh, Biodome now.
Have you guys ever seen Biodome?
Hell,
One of the best,
hell yeah, bro.
No.
one of the best movies ever.
Dude, I'm fruit at the bottom, baby. What?
Sure. Okay, I know
It's
what
one
you're
of those
saying.
movies that make you
Illegal, but Purple Sticky Punch goes way beyond just toking it. What a great movie.
It's one of those movies that make you question how Pauly Shore ever had a career in the first place.
No,
And then
that
you see
movie
Son-in-law
makes
and
me
realize he's a
realize
genius.
He's a genius.
Is he
yeah.
still alive?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is. He
Yeah.
was
He's
just
around.
on Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
recent,
Okay.
like in the last few months.
He's a little upset with how his career turned out.
I think so. I think
He was
so.
everywhere for a long time.
Well, I didn't know he was the son of the owner of the.
Yeah, Laugh
Comedy
Factory.
Club-
Is it?
the
Oh
Laugh
no, the
Factory
comedy.
out.
Yeah,
No, what was it?
no. Which one is it?
The
It's the
Comedy
Stellar.
The comedy
The store.
Comedy store.
Comedy store.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, out in
His
L.A.,
mother
one of the
owns
most
it.
famous ones.
Yeah.
Rogan and all those guys.
if you've ever seen his stand up, it screams nepotism because there's no
Yeah.
other explanation why he's
Well,
on the stage.
We were literally just asking how he had a career in the first place. It's like, well, that'll do it. Your
Mm-hmm.
mother has connections to the industry, so
Pretty
they put you in movies.
Oh yeah, in the Army now, dude. Listen, legit, in the Army now has some of the most realistic basic training I've ever seen in a movie, hands down.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, once they get into the later part of the movie, it loses that realism of the military, but the way, the basic part in that definitely on point.
Walton?
Cool.
You want a
I did not say I
boomerang?
wanted a boomerang dick.
A
All right,
bone-a-rang. Bone-rang dick.
Yes. Well, no, and yes. No. We were talking about Bobbit and the Frankenwiener.
Who are these people?
I said that I would only do that if I could get an attachment, like it only augment it, and that's all. Soul Assassin's taking it completely out of proportion.
Yeah,
So
he's
like a
one of
bond.
the lightsaber slung.
Oh, you mess it. Yeah, I don't know if you guys
I mean,
saw
you'll
the
survive.
Critical Drinkers video about lightsabers. You don't want to do anything to a woman with a real lightsaber.
Oh, like in Sleepaway
Well-
Camp. Because the curling iron with Judy with the big boobs. The way put the curling iron. Anyway, all right then.
So,
do you need a moment? Is that what you're telling us?
This
right
is
now?
going to be the intro
relevant.
to my Game of Thrones song or videos. Wait a minute. Am I going the right way? Here we go.
Man, this has bombed so
Shut up.
hard. This is why
Shut
you
up.
shouldn't do random
Wait,
shit.
am I going the wrong way?
Right now.
This is all about random shit. Shut up.
Your mic's not even picking it up.
Take 3.
Cool. My suggestion would be to find an audio file of that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Wow. Anyway,
hate
back to
all
what
you
I was
people.
saying.
Wow.
Man.
And we lost 2 people. Hey, okay, let's do this. Walton, hi.
Hi.
All right, let's go. So, you want to like introduce yourself? What's your channel up to now? That's the only reason I invited you, because you probably passed me already. So.
Well, actually, my channel's actually demonetized. YouTube got me finally.
Oh no!
Because
What
you're
happened?
calling out hoes.
Yeah, no, not that one. I'm talking about author Stephen Walt was demonetized.
Oh,
Oh,
what
you
was
still
that?
have that? You still have that channel?
Yeah, I
Did
actually
you start
still do stuff
talking
on
about
that.
space
Yeah.
lasers?
We did talk about lasers tonight. Actually, didn't we, Tina? We talked about
Yes, we did.
lasers in space, and Slender doesn't agree that you can't see a laser if you shoot it in space.
Wait, am I looking at it from space or am I looking at it from Earth?
I don't. We didn't specify that, man.
I mean, lasers, unless you add color to it, you're not going to see it.
But what if it's like a Death Star laser? Are you going to tell
Okay,
me
well,
something?
that's
Oh,
a
we know
color.
the answer. We saw it in space.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
I don't know if Alderaan saw it.
Yeah, no. They saw it
clearly
like,
not.
ooh, it got bright out all of a sudden.
They didn't see
Done.
it coming.
And that
You
was
can
it.
even see it from an entirely different universe, apparently.
Yeah,
If there's 3 of them.
yeah. You could
JK.
take out a whole solar system with the bigger one. What was that one in those sequel
The
movies?
planet star? No.
Yeah, something like that.
The planet?
Star
The
thing.
It
planet?
was like the Death Planet.
Yeah, you
Death-
played it. You paid attention.
Yeah, well, the movies suck.
That one had to suck an entire
all.
sun to power up and move to a different place because the sun, you know, that if you suck up the sun, it's going to kill all the planets that are, you know,
It went
Attached
so
to it.
slow,
It makes no
man.
sense, bro. It makes no
which
sense.
seems fucked up.
I was watching
Actually, seems
Critical
like a better
Drinker
plan.
today, and he had a video about lightsabers and what it would actually do to a body if, when in Ahsoka, where she got stabbed and it was
Yeah.
in there for about 5-6 seconds, she would have literally combusted. Like, she should have been just set on fire because it sat in there so long.
I kind of get that.
Yeah, you would-
Robot Head and I were going back and forth about it because I was trying to think,
Great-
you know,
great channel.
if I took everything I experienced being burnt on the outside and somebody did that to me on the inside, I don't think I would have I don't think the likelihood of survival would be very high.
Well, look, a lightsaber is pure energy with like a force field around it, right?
It's like
what
plasma.
Wait,
energy.
a force field that's made by the force, or a force field as in a field that is mechanically?
It's
I don't know,
mechanical.
you went beyond what I was
It's
even trying to-
mechanical.
I have
Is
no
it
idea.
Designed
a
the
synthetic
lightsaber with-
force?
The lightsaber contains the kyber crystal. That's what I've always thought of it. That's why Kylo Ren, his was all like staticky because he never really learned to create,
And he had to have the vent. That
and he had to have like the crossbars.
I enjoyed that headcanon as well, and unfortunately
It was aesthetic.
they didn't say. Yeah, it was aesthetically. It was naming, you know, Chewbacca's wife Mala or whatever, and then having to retroactively come up with a reason why the son's itchy or crunchy. I forgot what their names were. I'm just saying
Crunchy?
they didn't think that far ahead. They like, man,
No.
that's gonna look cool with a cross thing.
Oh yeah. It's a crossbar.
I mean, I thought it looked
Cross guard.
Cool.
Cross guard.
I thought Kylo's lightsaber looked cool, but
Oh, absolutely,
looked cool.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
Critical Drinker was saying that like she would have combusted if a lightsaber
Yes.
was struck in you.
yes, and sat
Look,
in
he
there.
would have died, that's for sure.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
it would have
Yeah.
like caused the molecules of the body to just combust. Like boom.
You
Like,
would have
first
released
of
your
all-
bowels, all types of stuff. It wouldn't have been pretty.
It wouldn't have been. I mean, I said,
Nasty Mark.
say that, Tina.
A woman's body can create life, so therefore we can heal ourselves.
Or you would quite literally shit yourself and died.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed for her right now. But like where she got stabbed should have took out the liver. Like I said that last week. Her liver was probably cut in half. Kidneys. He said the large intestines or a portion of the intestines would have
right.
been.
But
So yeah, she would have.
You were assuming
in their defense, though, what you don't realize is
They're
a
close to
different
human.
sun.
Well, they are Mandalorians, but their anatomy should be close to ours. I
Yeah,
don't
but it's
think
a
like their
different
heart is in their
atmosphere.
ass.
Like
Yeah.
Sp-
She's
like
a Twilight.
Superman.
Maybe her organs are set up different.
No, she's not. She's a
Isn't she?
Mandalorian.
Who? Wait, who
Wait,
got stabbed?
Mandalorians aren't a
Who got
race
stabbed?
though.
Sabine.
Oh, Sabine got stabbed. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretend
but
like you know what we're talking about.
Mandalorian isn't a race though.
No, but they are. No,
It's a
is, and
culture.
they're an ancient.
Oh,
Family of
okay.
Mandalore.
So Baby Yoda and fucking Din, whatever his name is, they're the same species.
No, what I'm
'Cause
saying
they're
is
both
her
Mandalorians.
house. Her house is an ancient house of the original Mandalore.
Oh, okay. So we're
It's
using
Vista,
Mandalorian both
Cal
in the
Visca,
sense
or
of
whatever that guy's name is,
both in the race and cultural
and
sense.
in the cultural sense. Yeah, she,
You're right.
So,
she's
Yeah.
not
so the difference
appropriated.
between being human and being like a Chicagoan, you know.
Well, thank God they didn't overcomplicate that. You know.
Copied kid. He
Right.
says
Keep
ugly.
it
I look
simple.
forward.
She
to
got
it.
rammed through with a lightsaber. She's dead.
She's
There's no
dead.
way. I don't care if her heart is in her ear. You got rammed through with a lightsaber. You're
I
dying.
was
You
more
know what I mean?
offended by them telling us that when a Twarlurk has sex with a human and has an offspring, all that happens is they have a green hair dye. When the Twarlock doesn't even have fucking hair to begin with, but somehow that's a dominant gene.
What's a Twarlock?
The one with the weird things on their head, Ahsoka.
It's the correct
Twi'lek?
pronunciation of a Twi'lek, but Ahsoka's not a Twi'lek. So.
She's not a Twilight.
No, I'm talking about the green
But
one.
you're
I just
talking
don't
about
know
the
her
green
name.
one.
She was, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, so her son has a tint of green in his hair.
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe his eye color should have been like hers. You know what I
Or-
mean? And not the hair.
Maybe he should, I don't know, be a fucking alien
Yeah, maybe.
and not just a liberal fucking.
See? Thinking and talking random right now.
I'm just saying, I don't know if Twarlurks have body hair. They certainly don't have any on their head.
So let me ask this question. Mandalorians are not a species. They were at one time, right? Since the Old
Yeah, right.
Republic. But
Yeah.
she is House Vista. Isn't she like from the ancient race of Mandalore? Like the first true Mandalorian? Or was he not Mandalorian and he just took over Mandalore? Like, someone give me some information. Soul, I need the whole chapter on it. Oh, little Chad.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think what he's saying is that they took it, they appropriated it, and changed its meaning.
Well, sure. No, he stabbed him and took it out, didn't he? Or did he hold it in there too?
There was a second or two.
It wasn't
Andy,
like that
Andy,
5
He
seconds.
pulled it right out.
Okay.
hold on, Andy, with the Obi-Wan didn't combust. Listen, I don't need them to combust. Like every movie, when somebody gets shot, I don't need them to show us how they defecate themselves and piss on themselves when they die. But I do need them to die.
There you go.
Yeah, I think
don't
that's-
overcomplicate it. You get
Yeah.
stabbed with a lightsaber, you die. You die.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She's not.
You-
Her not dying is a problem. Excuse
well,
me.
I mean, also, what's her name? Riva. I mean, she got stabbed as a
Twice.
child and then as an adult and lived.
Yeah,
But
man.
she had
I don't-
immunity then from being stabbed as a child.
Yeah,
Well, I
she
guess
has
her hip-
black girl
she had a-
magic. You can't apply that.
Well, I guess when she was small, her hitbox was really tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Does the uterus give them extra protection? Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, her uterus is a lot farther down.
You
from
don't
where
know
she
that.
got
You do not
stabbed.
know the anatomy of a Mandalorian.
Valid. It could be the
You're right.
fallopian
She
tubes
could
go
have a
up to her
pecker.
neck.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
they never really.
Yeah.
Never talked about it.
There should be some. You know what? I think we should write a book about the anatomy of Star Wars.
Din Djarin might not have a penis.
He doesn't
Never
act
really
like
have
talked
to.
about
this.
it.
He
Yeah.
doesn't act like I can't pick up the sword. It's so heavy. This big black sword. I just. Ugh. And then the women are like, "Hoo, hoo, hoo, doo, doo."
No, because women know what to do with a big black sword.
I mean, allegedly.
Wow.
See, Mark?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess some of the more tolerant women do. Yes.
Ah,
Okay.
I
know who
like
did.
Tina.
Yeah, Tina just opened up. I like
it's
what
like
Andy
the woman
says.
she's referring to.
Double X chromosome equals plot armor. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
We have DJ Odyssey saying, "Hey, if you can bleed for 3 to 5 days straight, you can easily shake off a lightsaber." That is true.
Exactly what I was trying
Yep.
to say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go any further with that.
Darren says we all know women's ovaries count as extra lives. It's like a cat.
There you go.
It's situational. Like, let's say that you're pregnant and stealing alcohol and parked in a handicapped spot and you try to run over a cop. And the cop kills you. That's 2 murders. But let's say
You go.
you
to
don't feel like raising a kid.
Right.
You know, that's no
That's
murders.
just releasing it to be free.
You
You
know
know
what I
what
mean?
else got released to be free?
Yeah.
Hey, Ironheart. Let's just say that.
Oh,
pulled
speaking
from
of
Marvel's
being
upcoming-
aborted, this
Oh,
whole show was.
It looks to be.
No, just
Nice.
delayed, not aborted.
Tina, do you really think they're going to do it?
It didn't say delayed. It said it was taken off the to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Yeah,
remember the exact
altogether.
wording.
I mean, it was supposed to be released in the next 2 months, and now it's off the
Well, there were
rescheduled
several.
list.
It was my understanding that this and Ahsoka and the Agatha Hartness one that they've renamed 4 times were all delayed till 2022. But
No, this one
it's
wasn't
like,
though.
It's like corporate talk. It's like
Wait a
when they
minute,
tell
what
you
year
that
are we
you're
in?
suspended indefinitely, which pretty much means that you're suspended until we can figure out a way to fire you. Then you're gone.
or you mean
It's
like when they
gone.
say that you're leaving to pursue other
Yeah,
things that okay, but they fired you. Got it.
but they fired
Okay.
your ass. Now,
Alright.
everyone right now can blame the strikes. You know, like, oh, the strikes, we can't, we're never going to plan to do this.
Damn
And it
you,
could-
Liger!
You're right, but it could be a valid thing. But I think they're realizing these shows. We already had Kevin Feige saying they were going to do less shows, less series, because all the series for Marvel and Star Wars pretty much suck.
Mhm.
Mostly Loki.
Hey, I'm getting my Loki
Tina.
in like 5 weeks.
I'm with Tina.
Loki.
I like Loki. I'm with Tina.
What the
Someone
fuck?
had to.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you
I
like
don't-
getting kicked in the balls for millennia.
I don't know
I
how
thought it
smart
was
it is,
fun.
Walton. I mean, you have enough already for people
Yeah.
to hate on. You know, don't add.
Yeah.
I liked
Damn.
Tom
Alright.
Hiddleston. I liked the character. I had fun with it. I just didn't.
I mean, I liked the
think
character when it
Tina-
was the character, not this. Whatever
Exactly.
this was.
Yeah, well, this is the same Walton that took this picture and still couple pictures. This one.
That is not
loved
me.
that. And then this one in cosplay.
God.
Oh, no, wait a
No.
minute. That wasn't it.
Warn
Shit, I don't have
people,
that one.
Warn people. Jeez.
This one.
I don't understand. That
Yeah.
head is too big for that body.
Yeah, well, you have you're like a Ben Affleck head.
You guys think this is disturbing? It's nothing compared to what he sends in the DMs.
Yeah.
You didn't like
Sure.
polishing the knob. You didn't like that.
I honestly, it made me think, oh wait, maybe this isn't as much of a bit as I thought it was.
Right. What's up, Raquel? Yeah. Oh, and the memes. Memes has a great video out right now of Culture Casino and many shirtless men, including Sir Walton.
Yeah, it's not gay. It's not that gay. It's just a
Dude,
bunch of
it's a
shirtless
bunch
Hold
men.
on,
of
is it not
dudes.
gay
It's
or
gay,
is
but
it
it's
not
not
that
that
gay?
It's not
Yeah, he said
that
not that gay.
gay.
It was a bunch
is
of
gay.
dudes enjoying themselves, giggling like little schoolgirls. Because look at all of us on a panel with no shirts
Only
on.
Showback
Yeah.
was giggling. Only Showback was giggling.
You know what?
Yeah.
We have proof somewhere.
Were they watching the Lizzo on stage with their legs spread?
I
You don't
they
need to
were-
bring that up, Tina. What? Ew.
I think they were watching. Wow, that was.
Listen, I'm all for bros, watching a movie together shirtless, but let's be mature about it,
Yeah. Hold hands.
Yeah. What?
What?
Damn.
All right. So, Tina, can
This
you read that?
man-
Honey,
this
there's somebody
soundboard.
at the door. Oh, sorry.
Wait, your doorbell is the sound of a automatic rifle?
That's her
It is
opening the
Chicago.
door. She
Yeah,
does live in
exactly.
Chicago. All right. This is Walton.
Yeah, there's someone at the door. Can you pick up his body?
Walton answers the door like this. Anyways, that was dumb. Marvel is completely shaking up its slate of upcoming television series amid the
Yay.
many changes revealed by The Hollywood Reporter today. And the Dominique Thorne-led series Ironheart was completely dropped from the calendar.
Oh,
series.
Here we go. I found what I was looking for.
Okay.
So what they say
I
about
wasn't reading.
Ironheart, so it says Ironheart.
Ironheart. What is that, the porn?
Yeah, what if it says around Christmas Day and then it has January for another one, dates? Ironheart is the only one that says off the schedule, not paused,
Right.
not this date is coming out. It's off the schedule. It is
There's
off the
no-
to-do
Got
list.
Yeeted
Because
into
they-
the
be-
ether.
because they need reshoots or they need to change the script for a couple of episodes, and they can't do either one of those while they're on strike.
Right.
Oh.
Then it would be paused, like how they have listed Daredevil, Born Again, and Wonder Man. Both of those are paused because they're not completed.
Right.
Ironheart is off the schedule.
I mean,
Yeah, even if you use
Wasn't
that
Echo
excuse,
completed?
this is a show, Ironheart, that's already been mostly shot. So if they
Echo's-
need even more reshoots to save this thing, it's probably
Right.
not worth saving at this point.
Yeah,
Right.
well, Echo's in the same spot. They had to delay Echo also because
No, Echo is listed as having a date of January 2024.
and they
Ironheart
delayed it
is
to-
off the schedule.
Yes, dear.
I mean,
no, attack him,
Okay,
Tina.
dear.
what?
Attack him, Tina.
I'm just saying that it doesn't feel the same at all because it's categorized as something entirely different.
Well, why don't we read on?
And I think it speaks to the racism that we're seeing at Disney because the only one that's off the schedule is the one starring a person of color.
Hey,
Back me up on this, Mark.
Homophobic because there was also a bunch of drag queens and trans people on this one as well. So
So
Oh,
where
what a
did you get the
loss.
list? Where did you get the list? So I don't have to read all this stuff. Look at how terrible that suit is. Oh my God.
Well, it's a little pixelated on myself. Why am I defending this fucking
Okay,
show so
and
much?
That's the cheap one that she put together from the junk pile at Stark
That she stole?
Industries.
That she
It looks
stole.
it.
Make sure you have a young black female that, sells illegal copies of, schoolwork and steals from, a dead man. Let's make sure we do that because we are so, big on diversity, but she's a criminal. It's like so wrong. It's so wrong. These people have no freaking sense to them. Or they're just all racist. Where did you get the list? Share it. So I don't have to read this. I'm talking to you.
What if
Mad
season 2
Cheeseman.
gets a
What, me?
Christmas
What?
release window?
Oh, Hollywood.
Yeah, keep going, Tina. Just you put it in the private chat because I want to see the list.
Oh, I apologize. I don't have the list, but I have another.
No, not
article.
you. Not you, hon.
Oh, I'm
Mad
sorry.
Cheesemo. He's a little right now, so trying to get him back on board. You're really blowing up today, buddy. You're doing a great job. I'm
Oh,
so
nothing
glad.
compared to a few years ago.
You remember like this stream like a year and a half ago? 300 people watching. We were rolling. And then
What happened?
Mad started falling apart. I feel like it's almost like a song.
I never told you to do shorts with Game of
Jane
Thrones
got
bullshit.
married. Machismo ate a brownie too hard, and then we fell apart.
It was a gummy, bitch.
Culture moved up to a higher level, riding on those other coattails. I got demonetized,
He's just taking
yo.
shots at everybody
These
tonight.
were the best days of my life.
well, at least you're not taking it personally. So
No,
Well,
not
okay,
at
I
all.
shared the link in the chat.
Show's over, assholes. No, where in the private chat on StreamYards.
No, I put it in
Why
Twitter.
do I wanna
I was
go to
doing it
the
by my
DM?
phone. I was
Oh.
doing it by my phone.
I'm sorry, Mark, because I respect you and I love that you come, and I'm
Wow.
really
Just
sorry.
really
You
right
haven't
to
even
kissing
spoken
his
to him
ass.
in the last 15 minutes.
I have to kiss his ass
Yeah.
having you talking about katana poop and him talking about shit. Go ahead.
Katana poop.
Yeah, that was in the
I didn't bring
chat.
up boomerang dicks. Soul Assassin did.
It was in the
can
chat.
we also
I'm
talk
sorry.
about the flop that is this stupid Act of Hartnett show? Why is this even getting a show? This was based on a
Because
meme.
they need it for the Fantastic Four, darling.
It's
Why?
based on
Soul
a
Assassin
meme
nailed it.
of a Disney Plus show that most people have already forgotten about for the most part. And I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Let's give it 9 episodes. Like, why?
Okay, you have a valid point. The Hollywood Reporter, where is Ironheart? It's off the schedule. Those two are paused, which I'm shocked they didn't.
You're not
I guess
sharing
they didn't.
anything.
I'm sharing it to myself. Shit. You know what? It's all
Thanks.
because of you. Do you know that?
Boomermania.
You're like, don't do it so it shares
Yeah.
right away.
Sure, I'm also the reason you still don't have it in dark mode.
No, it goes back all the time, man.
I still haven't figured out dark mode, Matt. You got to walk me through.
I.
Are you serious, dude? Go to more settings and support.
How
and
the
then
fuck are
you
you
go
gonna? As it
settings
is
or
literally not in dark
display.
mode. You're like, let me tell you how to do it, bro.
Because mine always goes back. Mine always goes back for some reason. And Tina told me it was because I didn't What did I do? What did I do? I don't know.
You didn't register your version of Windows.
Shit.
So
Is
that's
this the
how
one
they
I'm sharing?
encourage you to do
Crap.
that?
Yeah, you're sharing it, bro.
What are
Okay,
you?
well, let me stop
doing?
sharing that. Sorry.
Wow, you were
I was
on the
gonna-
struggle
It's
bus tonight.
still
It's only
being
like
shared.
30 minutes in.
Dude, I worked this last week. I've worked, I think it was 94 hours. So I am doing well right now. My brain is mush and I'm going to work tomorrow too. So you guys talk for a second. I'm just going to go off screen, take a nap and cry for a moment. I'll be right back.
Oh,
So
can
you
you
guys really think
highlight
they're not-
Soul Assassin before you go? Because he kind of nailed it when he said Sporks was losing streams, then Mad sacrificed his channel to come do the heavy lifting for Sporks.
Where I didn't read that anywhere. Who wrote that?
Wow.
It's that one right there.
Anyway,
Oh, okay. Now I see it. Now I acknowledge it. There we go.
So I didn't really hear anything about Ironheart. Jacob, you were mentioning that they have transsexuals and other
Yeah,
stuff.
so this was supposed to be their big black girl magic show with a bunch of LGBTQ representation. So they got one of the drag queens from RuPaul's show to play a drag queen superhero on that show. They hired a trans actor from Wentworth to be on the show, the one who recently just got her tits lopped off too. So she was supposed to be a part of that as well, and a few other people who were supposed to be in there. So it was supposed to be like very heavy LGBTQ, and now that show looks like it's possibly dead because the girl, the Dominique girl, who they're basing this entire show around, I don't know if you guys know that she's not a great actress, and I think they realized
What?
that giving an entire show to people who can't act is probably not a good thing, which
Well,
is
they're
why
figuring
they're
it out
struggling
now.
with Echo right now.
They didn't learn from Batwoman, is what
No,
you're saying.
no.
No.
It's actually gotten worse since Batwoman. Like Echo, if you guys haven't heard the backstory on Echo, we've made jokes about this on other shows, but Echo is a deaf Native American, one-legged, possibly lesbian superhero that Disney decided to give an entire Disney Plus show on, but they wanted to be quote-unquote authentic to diversity and representation. So they actually got a real Native American, one-legged deaf woman to play the role, but of course she's never acted in anything in her entire life because who else with one leg and deaf would act in normal things? So they figured out, oh yeah, she's a terrible actress, and we gave her 6 episodes. What are we gonna do? Release it all at once and then pretend like we didn't do it? Oh, yeah, let's do that.
And
How
that was
many
supposed to be
checkboxes?
next month.
Yeah, it's supposed to
Oh,
be.
this
Well, it's been pushed back like 3 times, but it was supposed to come out in November, and now it's being pushed back to January.
I don't have anything against native one-legged deaf people, but I just don't
Mhm.
think that was a good decision.
I feel like you do.
Yeah. So
Okay.
some people will even say that that's a very, very stupid decision.
I would
I
think
think
so.
you guys-
And possibly lesbian, excuse me. 4th checkbox.
I think you guys
Yeah.
are ableist, racist, sexist,
Possibly
pieces of shit.
anti-bisexual as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she's like a dick-hating lesbian.
Yeah.
I just don't think they had a plan for any of this, and they just threw, check boxes out there. They were like, okay,
I
she will
think-
cover so many in this one series, and Ironheart will cover some others, and let's go for it, because their whole plan was to replace, not to introduce new characters, but to replace the strong, toxic white males in the series with females. I mean, that's, if you look at every single one, it's a carbon copy ripoff of the male. And it's just pathetic that they couldn't come out with other characters that were female that could be used in a strong, showing a female in a strong way, like they did with Black Widow at the beginning.
They
a
thought,
person
oh,
without power.
This chick is going to be just like Daredevil, except for she's more diverse because she has all of these check boxes here. Then they realize, oh yeah, crap, we actually need to have an actress who can actually act. And this chick hasn't been in anything with the exception of the 2 episodes of, Hawkeye that she was in 2 years ago. That's literally her only acting credit in her entire life. And they gave her own show.
I don't understand. Like, you're right about the lack of creativity, but who doesn't want to see a hot chick, just a hot chick superhero on
me,
screen?
me.
Okay,
You can't
what
have that
about you?
anymore because we're
They're-
we're,
right.
we're in the age of anti-male gaze. So if there's any attractive girl that is going to entice the
Black
18
Widow.
to 34 male demographic, we can't have that anymore because it's
I
not
don't
their
think that
time
doesn't
anymore.
make any sense. That's like not wanting to make money.
But
Or
Steven,
not.
they already did it. Black Widow. You took a gorgeous woman who wore a tight black outfit and replaced her with a gorgeous woman who wears a frumpy white one.
She was pretty for a woman. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Have you
I'll be
seen
right
the recent skins real quick of the women in the new Mortal Kombat game? They went out of their way to make every single one of them significantly unattractive.
Yes, dude. What the hell is
Really?
wrong with them? Yeah.
Oh, they
You gotta
look
bring it up.
horrible.
Yeah, bring it up.
I'll look at it real quick. I gotta go back. But yeah, they look horrendous.
I don't know what it's like. Mark, explain this to me. The idea that you can't have a beautiful woman anymore. Like they have to almost like men for the last, I don't know, half a decade. We have to apologize for being men. It's like beautiful women now have to apologize for being beautiful, and we don't want to see them on screen.
Now we have
You
to
know
have
what's weird?
ugly
It's
women.
got to be a
in-
plan too, because I was thinking the other day. It's like you look on like TV, movies, and you see this concentrated effort to like make women unattractive, and they don't want to be seen, and it offends them to be seen. But then you go on something like TikTok, and you see women objectifying themselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Looking for all of this attention, OnlyFans, things like that. They're kind of out of touch with what's going on here. It's like I think that women will always want to be adored. You know what I mean? Women will always want to be seen as attractive. Men are the same way, but women are built a little bit differently, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the reason why we
Thank
have beauty pageants and things like that, because a woman is just a amazing thing.
Right.
I'm sorry, Matt, but it's true. A woman is an amazing thing to behold. So, it's really going against nature to present them as unattractive. They got to go out of their way to do this.
And if you think about
Yeah,
it,
so
in
here's
nature,
the picture too. I got it up
okay.
just in case you
But
guys
if
go
you
before.
think about it, in nature, the human being is one of the only ones that
Ew,
the male
God.
isn't the flamboyant one. It's the male isn't the one that attracts. It's because you see in nature, men, the other animals, they're more colorful so that the female could be safe and protected, and predators would come after the male. But in the human realm, I mean, the female body is way better look. I don't care what dude you have who's chiseled and good looking. You put a woman that's beautiful next to him, your gaze will go to the woman.
Yeah.
Except for Walton.
Yeah, so what happened here with Mortal Kombat is that
What
the
is
Mortal
this?
Kombat 9 was the
Are they all the
last.
same person?
They all look. So what happened here was like Mortal Kombat 9 was the last Mortal Kombat game that had the characters in like very sexualized outfits, and it seems like ever since then the people at NetherRealm have been working overtime to counteract that. To now, okay, we're not gonna have super attractive women rip each other's hearts out and then eat them and over their opponents. Now we're gonna make them aggressively unattractive, and this is the new skins for the upcoming female characters for the new game. This is all the new game here, by the way. You can tell every single woman in this game looks grotesque.
They do.
I mean, and why is it? Because it's Mortal Kombat. The majority of them have to have an Asian, like.
Like,
tone
it's not
to
even
them.
that. You can have a hot Asian chick, but it's
No,
like
no,
you
no, but
went
what I'm
out of
saying,
your
they
way
all-
to make them unattractive.
It's like you can't have like a white girl fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even about ethnicity. I don't even care what the race is. It's Mortal Kombat. It's just taking away the aesthetic of that's been one of the things that it's one of the aspects of the game that we've always played. That's always been a part of the game, which is like
Right.
unbelievable hot chick, performing. Oh God, go away with it. Performing,
Right.
Uh,
No, I
freaking
wanted him to
fatality
see
shit.
it. He needed to see it. He's in the chat, man. I gotta be there for my fans.
I want to
At
see
least they got
insanely
they
hot.
got boobs. You know what I mean? At least they got some, that going on. Up
Go
top.
all the
But
go all
this
the way
was-
to the left, chick though.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
I'm calling
So
dog.
this is
on that one.
this is the character they brought back from the PS2 era games, the Astra chick, who was supposed to be a chick from like the NetherRealm, and then I was like, oh, okay, let's make her an unattractive demon for this game while we're
She looks
bringing
like
her
a
back.
chick from the girl with the dragon tattoo, like
Yeah.
the original one.
And then the one right here is Tanya, and if you guys remember Tanya from the older
course.
game, she looks absolutely nothing like this in those
Right.
games.
Yeah.
Right.
Then here you have Melina, Sindel, and Katana, and then on the far right here is supposed to be Lee May. So, like I said, they've I don't even know what's even the end game here. Basically, NetherRealm decided years ago that hey, boobs and good-looking women is too much for modern day video games. But we can still have uber violence because it's Mortal Kombat.
Right.
Yeah,
Katana's supposed to be hot. Melina's supposed to, like, the top half for supposed to be hot, which is, and then
Yeah.
you take the mask off. And I mean, that's just a part of the game. And so, why would you want to remove that? Like, and I have to agree with Jacob. It's just they've just decided that good-looking women are hot. Even if it's unrealistic.
they,
But
they
hot,
all look like coal miners now.
yeah. I mean, you have a couple women in the game. What. I'm not playing. Like, I'm not. And this is the thing, right? Because I'm not exactly playing the game to look at the chicks. I'm playing the game for the fun of it. But when you bring this up, someone working there is probably going to point the finger at you and say, well, you're a sexist. Do you need this to be a part of the game? Like, just create a false argument.
Mm-hmm.
Just
it was always from the women who 10 years ago were complaining that we wouldn't make space for them in the video games, and now that we've let them in, like, this is what they're doing, and now they're like spiting us to our face. And now it's like, okay, well, I mean, this is kind
But
of
they're
the
doing
reason
it to themselves too.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. It's like, one, you're making your own gender ugly on purpose, and then two, you're kind of justifying why nobody wanted to let you in the first place because you guys are going to do stuff like this.
That's ridiculous, man.
Do you think it's a self-hatred thing, Jake? Do you think it's like just like these women that just like don't have confidence in themselves, or they're just?
Yeah, it is, because here's the thing. Like, remember 30 years ago, the whole argument used to be that, bikini models and lingerie models were promoting unhealthy body types because it would make women feel bad about themselves, and they would go on to be bulimic and anorexic, and we couldn't have that anymore. So we had to have more natural looking women on these ads because, we were creating essentially a pandemic here. And 30 years later, we're now realizing that was a lie. Essentially what's happening is that a bunch of unattractive women were jealous of good-looking women, so we tore down the beauty standards so that they can have a shot of being at all of these like promos and stuff like that. And now we're putting like literally like 300, 400-pound women on these same platforms saying that, oh, this is what beauty is now. It's like, well, 30 years ago you were telling me that the 110-pound bikini model was promoting an unhealthy body type, and now you're literally having obese people in the exact same role. So essentially this is all just a lie. You just want to protect your ego because the skinny chicks made you feel bad.
And I'd like to point out that Zach said, I think the chick on the far left looks like Steve Buscemi. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. It's, I don't know.
And this is why Tekken is sold, like, the last Tekken game sold like 10 million copies. Is because people are all like, oh, okay, well, at least Tekken will put at least some attractive looking people on their video game and not try to make me feel bad about it. So, yeah, I'll just go play Tekken instead. Like,
well, it pulls your eye to it,
Yeah.
In the same way that you want to see attractive women in superhero roles.
I don't want a muffin top Laura Croft. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I don't. I don't.
See, you can still get this from Tekken, and then,
Yeah. It's just, it makes no sense. Like, it's a video game mostly for men. It's their way of, for boys too. Like, this is a way, like, you won't sexualize us. Well, I mean, once again, we're telling young boys it's not right to find the female form attractive.
Yep.
It's terrible.
It's what keeps the human race going, though. You know what I mean? It's
you're
going against nature, like I said before.
Well, we're dangerously close.
Men got to be able to get a stiffy, man. You're not going to.
But here's the thing, though. We're dangerously close. We're dangerously close to the point where in a few years, the only people who will be able to portray femininity in any kind of way, shape, or form will be men. They'll be the only ones that are allowed to be feminine.
That's the damn truth of it too, man.
Right? It's terrifying.
No.
It's where people are allowing it to go.
Well, it's just like
Croft. Sorry, Biggles. No, you please.
Well, it's like having trans women in sports. They're just taking over that genre. They're
dudes in sports, man. I'm so sick of trying to build my channel. I don't care if YouTube demonetizes it. It's dudes in sports. No, I am. Like, let's stop saying trans women. They're dudes going against, and they're like 20-something-year-old dudes going against 20-year-old women. There is a big difference in muscle mass and bone structure. Like, I'm sorry. And the worst part is when a woman ties a man in swimming, they give him the higher award and then attack that woman. It's messed up. It is messed up.
But one thing that definitely needs to be called out about this too is that this is also the fault of women too, because if you see that all these trans athletes and models and stuff like that, who's always the main people propping them up? It's other women. So, I mean, this is as much as your guys' fault as anyone else's, because you guys keep essentially patting these people on the back and give them head pats and encourage them to do crap like this.
Well, you're right. They're playing on women's natural empathy. You know, they're more emotional thinkers, and so they play on their heartstrings and end up setting up their own downfall.
Yep.
First to know, my pronouns are so. Thank you.
God, you're gay.
That's what I'm gonna have to change over so I can grow my channel.
You'll get more subs. You'll get a YouTube algorithm push. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Ryan Roger Athey was talking because he comes down on the transgender thing a lot. And I said, dude, he lives in Britain. Just wear women's panties. And when they come stomping, like Gestapo comes, the social justice police, just show them, you're a part of that community.
Yep.
So that's what you should do, Scott.
Wear
a bra, bro. Get a.
Edwin is.
Yeah,
look, the moral of the story here, folks, is don't waste your money on Mortal Kombat. Just spend your money on Tekken, because at least Japan doesn't hate you yet.
Tina has to take care. Let's let the actual woman talk. What's your feelings on it?
Well, I think it's, I honestly think that it's revenge of the women because of the whole, you got to hire minorities and women need to be in entertainment because we were, gate kept for so long over many generations. Well, we're now in charge of entertainment. So therefore, this is all revenge by the sad chicks who were bullied as girls. So they now want the ugly, unattractive girls to be on television so that they can keep the attractive girls from getting work, and they can also get revenge on the men who never gave them any attention when they were younger.
These are the same women that praised Adele for being one of the greatest singers of the last generation, of this generation, and then when she lost weight, they attacked the hell out of her.
Yep.
Because she got healthy.
How dare she?
How dare she?
Yes.
Exactly.
And women may not be violent by nature, but they are vindictive as all hell.
Mm-hmm.
That is news to me. I never knew that.
Oh no, so I'm glad I was here to educate you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I saw this article, and we're thinking random and talking randomly, so I'll bring this one up because I found this to be interesting. It was mostly attacks on women, though. I got to turn off my dehumidifier. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Well,
they attacked Rawlings again. That's Rawling. JK again. For the 900th time. So, yeah, woke witch hunt has taken over the arts, and this is in the UK. There's no more free speech in the UK. Discuss.
Really?
Well, we did hear from Ryan Roger Athey on Steven's channel a little bit earlier today about the fact that it would not surprise him that when he's streaming at 4 a.m. with his American friends, that he could one day have his door broken down by the thought police because he has certain views about folks that are transgender and homosexual, and he's not afraid to express it, good or bad.
And thank God we haven't gotten to that point in this country, but you can get shamed online very easily by hate mobs, for having a view that is not as far left or as liberal minded as they are. And it's like, just imagine the fear of just being in your home and being in a government, in a state, or being in a country, God, I can't speak, where you can be arrested. Someone can come to your home. A cop can come to your house and just arrest you because of something that you said online that was against a social policy of a country. Like that's
there's no freedom of speech in the UK. If you say something online, the cops will literally knock on your door a few hours later.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
The scary thing about that is that it is true that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If it could happen anywhere, it could happen here. You know, I mean, it's that elitism or whatever it is, nationalism or whatever we have going on here that makes us think we're so arrogant that it can't happen. But human beings are the same wherever. You know, they have the same capacity for good and evil. So if it's happening there and it goes unchecked, it's allowed to happen, then it will find its way here. And we're already seeing the seeds of that anyway, as it is. So
I was watching the RFK Jr. They had some type of congressional hearing about stuff he said, and another there was a writer there and stuff, and you know the Republican chair spoke, and then it went to the Democratic representative to say their first statements, and one of the things she made sure to say was that free speech is not, there is no such thing as free speech in America, that there are limits to free speech. And the only limits to free speech are causing havoc by saying fire in a crowded theater, or threatening someone that you're going to murder them, or telling others to murder other people. That's it. That is it. And she made it seem like there are so many already limitations to free speech that people better watch what they say and do, because, you know, little by little, we're going to take it away no matter what. That's what I got from her. That was the gist. And it's terrifying that this is from the party of, you know, JFK. This is from the party that everyone used to think were the hippies. You know, they are they right now are the controlling ones. If it's their America and not yours, you are disgusting.
Well, I think people, like I said, people are finally starting to figure out the lies. They only framed themselves as that years ago when they didn't have the political power and the cultural power that they have now. Now that they're the ones that are in power, their job is to stuff out any opposition to their power. And that's essentially what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. And truly, you know what? Biggles does say this, if there is a fire, but you could still scream out fire in a crowded room and there is no fire. You're just going to get arrested.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
it.
saying like there's a bomb at the airport. It's like
Right.
if there's an actual bomb at the airport, you can say that, but if you just say it just to say it, then you're
Right.
gonna get arrested.
But
So
you can have trans activists, Antifa, BLM take down fences at the White House during the last, the last administration, and no one gets arrested. And then you have someone who is a Proud Boy who got 18 years for January 6th. Like there is a sick division.
you mean
in
the
this.
violent attack on January 6th where the only person
'cause-
who died was shot by a cop?
Yeah, the guy like moved a fence 6 feet just so he can get through it. He didn't destroy it. He wasn't ripping it out
They
the
gave
hands
4
of cops.
years to the guy who sat on Nancy Pelosi's chair.
Yeah, and wanted to pray for her. It's just disgusting, man.
You're not allowed to
It's-
peacefully assemble and protest if you
Right.
have wrong think. That's all that taught. That's
Right.
all that taught.
Like, it's funny how all these people are getting like 20 years in prison. Meanwhile, like 6 months before that whole incident happened, you got people that were literally burning this country to ash and like
Yes.
murdering people on the street
Yeah.
who haven't gotten a single ounce of justice since then.
Taking over entire zones of cities.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
but-
literally videos on social media right now, people literally being beaten to death like 6 months before that whole thing happened. And
Right.
not a single one of those people are been charged for anything.
No, because it was mostly peaceful. Like, so let's read this in the UK. So commonplace are the symptoms of fear. We barely register them now. A few days ago, to quote an example that got next to no publicity, that's another thing, and an interdisciplinary artist called Rosie Aspinall took it upon herself to go through the social media of David Gregg, a Scottish playwright and theater director, as if this were an entirely normal way to behave in the arts today, and I am afraid to say it was. Her snooping paid off. She announced that Gregg was guilty of openly liking transphobic tweets, a career-destroying offense, as she must have known. But how transphobic did they need to be to finish Gregg off? One tweet Gregg liked referred to gender madness, a sackable offense, apparently. A second contrasted the policy's cruel arrest of an autistic girl who had said that one of their officers looked like her lesbian nana. I don't know if you guys saw that one. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That was insane that this girl got arrested. I mean, it was so horrific to watch these guys arrest that poor girl.
And she's autistic of all things. Like you're not even going to take that into consideration with your Gestapo police.
Yeah. Just because she said she looked like her lesbian nana, like whatever. With the cops light handingly of a transgender activist who allegedly punched a gender critical feminist in the face. So they arrest this poor girl who's autistic, throw her against the wall. It was pretty violent. And then this other person who actually punched someone in the face, they kindly asked her to be arrested, Yeah. So this poor guy, his career is ruined because he clicked like. It's unbelievable, man.
Because they're trying to send a message that this is going to happen to you if you oppose us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not allowed to agree with something that isn't sanctioned by the government.
Right.
And that is not freedom.
Yeah, this is what we like to call silencing dissident.
Right. Mm-hmm. And this is something else that I find to be crazy. So you have a president of the United States that got arrested, fingerprinted, and then a mugshot. Like no one knows. Like that is just, are you serious? You took a mugshot of a president. Like mugshots are for this pedophile escaped and is on the loose. You know what I mean? Like it is not for someone that you can go to like some crazy place in the Himalayas and they're going to know what Donald Trump looks like.
Yeah.
It was just all for the show, all for trying to embarrass him. And all they did was galvanize people to realize they're using political, they're flexing politically. So now.
And also they want to send a message to the rest of the so-called sheep out there about if they can get him, imagine what they do to someone like you, because the man does speak to a lot of what a lot of people out there are thinking, So, and I said this way back when they first kicked him off of social media. I'm like, they did this to a president. Understand that, because those of us who are free thinking and critical, it's not safe if they could do that to the president. And I was telling anybody, it doesn't matter what race you are. This is nothing to celebrate. No matter how you might feel about him, that was a major announcement they were making to all of us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the thing. People are so short-sighted. They don't ever look at it like that. They think that, that will never happen to me because I'm a good person. So I don't have to worry about this ever being used against me in the future.
Well, not even that they're a good person. They're on the right side of it. Mm-hmm. That's my team going after him. He deserves it. But the minute it switches, it's going to go after you. Like these people you do not want to touch the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, because the minute you do it, if somebody else gets control, you are screwed. And it's a witch hunt, and it's televising this is just this judges, trying to get elected for something else. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's going to be an election. This guy will be in an election because I'm the one who televised it. And I'm the one who's going to throw the book at this absurd arrest. You cannot prove Donald Trump didn't believe that this was a fixed election. You have to prove that he didn't think that. It's impossible.
Besides, it's a farce. One of the things that I've realized over the years is whenever they put something out there like this, there's probably a far greater evil that's happening behind the scenes. Like, you know what I mean? Like all of this is always a distraction. When some of the worst atrocities of humanity take place, they throw stuff like this out for everybody to focus on. And then maybe on page 13, 14 or whatever, you see what's really going on. Some little write-up about, by the way, this and such happened that everybody should be knowing about.
Right.
But everybody's fixated on this shit.
Yeah.
Do you think it might be better, though, that the trial is televised so that it can't be the media saying this happened during the trial when it didn't really happen?
No.
Because they'll still twist it. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys.
Everything you see on TV is a lie. That's what I go by. That's always been my belief. So they can televise it and we can look at it and say, okay, we're seeing it for ourselves. But I don't believe in any of it. I've seen some things in real life, like when you go out and then you see the way it's portrayed on TV. I mean, I saw that a long time ago. It was spooky. It's like, this shit is a lie. You know, everything that we see, the majority of it, unless it's like the weather report, and even that's suspect now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But they're just telling us what they want us to believe and what they want us to think. And the scary thing is, it's working. You know, there's some of the people that I go to, I mean, that I work with. Sometimes I'm just looking at them like, I've been working with you for something like 20 years, and you don't even sound like yourself, because we're getting such a steady diet of what to think, and we're losing our ability to put these pieces together for ourselves. Everyone is going to have the biggest opinion on this. Everyone is going to be, we're going to be arguing about this over Thanksgiving dinner about this damn trial or whatever. But like I said, what are we really looking at in this world? What are we really thinking about?
Well, everything's distorted, Mark. Like even if you're just looking at the televised version of this, you're going to get inundated with messages, emails, social media posts. You know, Google's going to direct you and direct how you are seeing each aspect of this trial. They're gonna, like we saw what happened with the coup and was going on during the entire Trump era, how social media shadow banned, removed people from platforms, created fact checkers, directed the authorized propaganda to different social media sites, on Twitter, on Facebook, on wherever you're at. They shape how you're getting this information. It's not like it was 25, 30 years ago before the advent of the internet, when you really only had to deal with newspapers, magazines, and television. Now it's coming at you from every single direction, and having a phone that's connected to multimedia, it's coming at you all the time. Every time you look at your phone, it's and that's where it's like a brainwashing that takes place, and
Absolutely.
It teaches people to think from second to second. Like Jacob was saying earlier about people not thinking ahead and just only caring like in a tribalist mentality about getting step one, staying with my team and getting this, and not thinking about how it could backfire on you in the future. Like that's how we've been trained like cattle over the last 20 years.
Yeah. And by the way, the whole thing of like shadow banning on social media, that's already back. I don't know if you noticed this, but multiple people, including myself, have been shadow banned on Twitter again. Like people have like notified us, like, hey, when you try to like search your name on the search bar, we can't find you. We can't find any of your posts through searches as well. So they, for whatever reason, Twitter has labeled a search ban and a search post ban on my account. So yeah,
Wow.
we're back to the old days of Twitter now. Remember when Elon hired that World Economic Forum shill a few months ago, and everyone said that was a terrible idea, and lo and behold, here we are a month later, and the shadow bans are back. So
that's insane, man. Like, are you on Truth Social, or do you go to any other platform?
No, but I am looking at just pulling it off of Twitter altogether in the near future. So
one of my bosses tweeted something on Twitter. He's a little hardcore, but tweeted about, whatever, Trump and this and that, mostly about Trump, and he already has been kicked off of Twitter.
Yeah.
Like Elon,
just in case you guys haven't realized, we're just around the corner from another election. So if you thought that this election was going to be any different than the last election just because Elon's in charge, you're wrong.
Get your boosters.
And also, one of Trump's court dates is actually the day or the day before Super Tuesday.
Yep.
Yep.
Isn't that
so
crazy?
So he can't be on the campaign trail. Yep.
But these people are
That's
surreal,
the best
man.
campaign.
It's like I saw something on Twitter today where they were saying that studies show that conservatives tend to stink, like literally have a bad odor,
What?
and it was on Twitter like every other piece of garbage, but the point is that there are people who are soaking this up and believing it. You know what I mean? Like we're allowing these psychos to make being a conservative or even thinking for yourself a bad thing, like an evil thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to be demonized. So it's not that hard to imagine that in the near future there will be persecution over just the way that you think, like serious denial of livelihood based upon these things. Because if you can say something as ridiculous as that, or conservatives just stink, you're more likely to stink.
Yeah.
It's like you're just taking away people's right to even exist when you're presenting them that way.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And they spent how many years just repeating the same, like that's a scary thing, how the state-run media, it feels like, has just constantly said falsehoods about Republicans and Trump and this and that, and they're still repeated to this day. Like Trump saying there's good people on both sides. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the biggest flawed statements. Just straight out
It's
fake.
straight up lie. Basically.
Yeah,
It's not
straight up
even-
lie. And it's still to this day, people I know believe that's the truth. That's why I'm asking you guys, Darren, what's up, brother? I'm asking you guys, follow me on Rumble, because at least Rumble still like allows us to speak freely and won't copyright strike you for going over a trailer. Like, even if we're not talking, like, YouTube is just out of its mind.
Yeah.
I'm sick of trying to work so hard in my life and then come back and work on this and it goes nowhere. So,
Ain't that
yeah,
the
follow
truth?
me over there.
Yeah,
Like I said,
100%.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's got real about that. There's a lot of our friends say things that aren't sanctioned, or the YouTube censors don't like, and it really stifles growth and outreach. And it's time to go to other platforms, ones that will let you grow, because these topics need to be talked about, and we can't continue to censor ourselves, or else we're actually adding to the problem by not speaking up and speaking out about this.
Right.
Yep.
We're
I've always
part of the
believed that.
problem. Go ahead. I'm
I've
sorry.
always believed that. I watch grown adults tiptoe around certain things. They're using code words and stuff like that. It's like, holy
Yeah.
crap, man. Look at where we are right now. It's like, bro, it's like, just speak your mind. Especially if you're speaking the truth. I've been getting kicked off social media since AOL.
Right.
It's like I got kicked off like accounts from there, all types of things. And it was
date
just because
yourself
I
like
was
that, Mark. Don't do that.
Huh?
Don't date yourself like that, Mark. Come on.
Listen, it is what it is. AOL existed, and it wasn't that long ago. All right. I mean,
Right.
young
A
bucks
while
don't know
ago,
about
dude.
it, but that's on them. What, like 20 years? Okay. Obviously,
Yeah,
I'm not
man.
20 years old. But see,
I
the thing
dialed
about
up.
it is that the thing about it is that, like I said, it turns out, I mean, just telling the truth can get you kicked off. Just
Yep.
telling the truth can get your tweet or whatever it is, just it can vanish. Your comment. I've
Yeah.
had comments that I've made to my commenters vanish on my own video. Replies that I've
insane.
given. Yeah. So it's like, man,
We're at a
is
point,
what it
Mark,
is.
where I understand. Like, I truly understand. We have friends in this realm of streaming where I get it. Their whole lives are wrapped up in this. Like, this is their income. This is their family's income. I can't tell them not to cover stuff like this, but for someone like me, I can only speak for me. I wish my channel would blow up and I could do streaming all the time, but the truth of the matter is I feel like I couldn't look my kids in the face if I didn't talk about the things that scare me that they're going to learn, that things that teachers can lie to them about. Like I have to defend them by speaking out. And
But here's the
It
thing:
makes
you
me
can't
whatever
be
I am.
yourself. Like I've said this many times before. Like the days of getting a big following on YouTube and being able to quit your job and be a full time, like, those days are honestly over. Like unless you're gonna be like a full gaming YouTuber or someone who does like makeup or some nonsense like that. Like if you're talking about anything that's deemed controversial, like you're not gonna have at least not in the sense that you can just like make YouTube like your job. Like it's not gonna happen because at any moment, at any time, they can demonetize your channel, or they can just come up one day and say, "Oh, your channel's gone. Yeah, you're done on this platform. We don't like what you have to say, and everything you work for can just be taken away from you just from a snap of the fingers." And if you're one of these people who have, I'm going to be a full-time YouTuber now, and YouTube decides, "Well, no, you're not," click, and then you're done. I mean, yeah, you're just going to be completely screwed. So, I mean.
Right.
The days of like 2013 YouTube where you can be like, oh, I'm just going to be a vlogger and I'm going to make videos, get 100,000 views every single day and I'll make lots of money. It's like those days are done, man.
Absolutely.
I am
unless
starting-
you are a complete moron, unless you
Yeah.
have mental instability and you get hundreds of like the we were just covering what Fuzi.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, you can sell out. You could just be like, okay, yo, no, I totally love lopping off the tits of my own kids. That's great. Isn't it the most amazing thing ever? Like you
Right.
can go that route and be
Right.
super successful on YouTube because no one's ever going to come after you. So unless you want to just completely sell out and sell your soul for money, I mean, you can do that as well.
I am going to start a music channel separate from this, but that's because I love music, so it might, like I won't talk about that stuff on that channel. I'll talk about the Beatles and things I love, But on this channel, I'm never going to stop talking about what I believe in. I like this one from White So Serious, which is a hilarious name. The Rittenhouse trial was the best example of how the media tries to manipulate the narrative. Showing the trial killed it. Watching the news, you'd think it was a different trial, and you're absolutely right. But I still know people that think the kid went out hunting black people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's all he did.
Showing
They
the trial
still
was
believe
preaching-
the guys who he shot were black. They still
Yeah.
believe that.
showing the trial was preaching to the choir. It always is.
Yes.
You're not changing anybody's mind.
Yeah.
All right. The conditioning is too strong. And that's what I mean. It's like you didn't go in there and learn something. Those of us who were paying attention already knew. But these people refuse to pay attention. They want their truth spoon-fed to them through the popular media, through the liars. These are the days when liars are trusted and people who tell the truth are demonized. It's just that simple.
Yeah,
know,
the
so you're
lies
not-
are
you're not
always more
swaying.
comfortable than the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
But what Scott is saying is 100% true about not speaking out about this leaves our children defenseless.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And those of us who are parents out here, that's a very serious thing because we know that every day brings us closer to the day when we're not going to be here. We're going to leave them in this world, and once we leave them in this world would devour them if we're not preparing them for it.
Right.
So, like I said, we can choose to be quiet and bury our face in the sand if we want to. But if we do care about these kids, man, so many of them are offing themselves and they're depressed and confused because they know that there are only two genders. You know what I mean?
Right.
They know these things. They know them because they're born that way in their nature.
Yeah.
But they're being told that they're wrong for saying it. They can be canceled for saying that. What do you think that does to the developing psyche of a child?
Right.
It creates mental illness, emotional illnesses.
Yeah. And one of the biggest examples of not helping a child transgender or, become transgendered in their youth is because kids do go through phases. I know that's like college, but kids do go through phases. And one of the biggest examples is look at the growth of one of not Angelina Jolie's girls. She dressed like a boy for many years. And now that she's getting, I think she's 17, 18, 19, maybe, she's wearing dresses and makeup and looking beautiful.
Yeah, she was a tomboy.
She was a tomboy.
Yeah.
And now,
Shiloh looked beautiful at all parts in her life.
Right.
When she had short, shaggy hair and was dressing and, to look more like her brothers. Hey, no problem. I mean, I don't remember if she's the oldest of the girls in
I don't think she is.
in the family, but I mean, I've heard people tell stories all the time that, when I grew up, I told my mother and my father I wanted to be a boy all the time because boys got to play with the cool toys and boys got to be on these sports that they didn't offer for girls and things of that nature. I didn't want to change my gender.
Right. And that's my 5-year-old. She wanted to be a boy, and I was like, why? I was worried they were teaching her that at school. She's like, because I want to be like Dad. Yeah.
Aww.
But a freak would take that and not ask that answer or ask the question why. They'd say, let's do this. There are people out there that the adult is the sick one who wants the, applause of the bubble, the applause of the people on their team. Like, look at me. I am so, so accepting that my 5-year-old is now a boy. I'm giving my child dangerous medications that we used to give to hardcore sex offenders to chemically castrate them. We're giving to 5-year-olds.
Lying to the children and the parents, saying that you can just pause puberty and 5 years later can start it back up again and you're going to be a normal functioning boy or girl.
Right.
Or man or woman at that point.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
If I lose subs over that, let's do it,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, when you see the little preschoolers and the drag queens, the spread eagle in front of them and stuff like that, and you see their parents are clapping and they're laughing and they're smiling. Look at the kids' faces. You know what I mean? It's like they know this is not right.
Right.
All the time. You always see them. They're like, what? You know what I mean?
It's
like,
perversion,
why am I here?
It's perversion. I can't see it any other way than trying to damage children and make them more accessible to perverts. That's all I see.
Well, it's not even that. It's this arrogance of these parents to think they know that this is right. Like, not arrogance, they're blindly following an ideology, and they want to be accepted so bad. Like, it still breaks my heart that Texas
Bring back
kid,
dueling.
the Texas kid who he like his father filmed him, and he was because the mother wanted to transition him and give him medication to be a girl, and he goes, well, why do you want to be a girl? He goes, I like girls. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I really like girls. Like, the kid, all he was saying was he likes girls, not that he wanted to be one. He likes girls, and the dad lost the court case. It's terrifying to me.
We already have people who've completely accepted the idea that, hey, your children don't belong to you. Your children belong to the state. Like, there's people unironically making that case now, because the whole thing with like the trans kids is like, well, who are you to think who knows what's best for your own child? It's like, are you a teacher? It's like, no, we're more qualified than you. It's like, this is where we're at now. Like, people have really accepted that.
Like, isn't that yeah.
But like I said, we got people who have accepted that communism is great too. So,
well, and that's another thing. No, Christianity is the joke Western culture. They want to make it a joke, and it's not because, Christianity isn't perfect. I'm sorry, I'm Christian, and some people don't see it as perfect. There has been a lot of shit that has happened through the centuries because man is fallible, God is not, and I never preach against other people's beliefs, but they will attack someone who's Christian. But if you are Muslim, they're not going to come after you. If you are
that's
Jewish,
because Muslims have already been dealt with, bro. Muslims have already been dealt with. It's the same thing that I always say about them attacking white guys. They attack white guys because they already fucked up black guys. All right, and that happened a long time ago. All right, so white guys are the last piece of the patriarchy that they have left in this country. All right, that's the reason why. So it's the same thing with Islam. Islam has been done since 9/11. All right. It used to be that you could talk about Islam or whatever, but these days Islam is a fucking joke, and it's a fucking joke even within Islamic circles. You know what I'm saying?
Especially I think it's even deeper than that, because when you really look at it, it's like when you're dealing with evil, it's like they're not gonna. I'm pretty sure there's a verse in the Bible that I mentioned about Satan can't take over Satan or can't defeat Satan. It's like you're not going to mock something that's you're basically already on the same side of, right? The reason why they attack Christianity so much because they know where the truth lies, they know where the power lies, which is why you don't see them go after so many other. I mean, there's hundreds of different religions out there that you can mock. You can through Judaism.
I disagree.
Hinduism.
I disagree.
It's because this is America. It's one nation under God. This is a Christian country, and that's the reason why it's targeted.
That's why.
That's the only reason why it's targeted. Islam is not a threat to America in America.
Well, the consensus of this country,
They want to make sure they're worshiping the ideology. They don't want you worshiping God. They don't want you worshiping a belief system. The only system they want you devoted to entirely is their ideology, this extremist view. That's it. And they want to take the power away from any other outlet that you would have other than the way that they think.
And I'll tell you right now, Walton, your beliefs, like, you're not a threat because your group is not a big enough group.
I'm a threat if I think outside of their.
Well, you are. What I'm saying is this: if your belief system founded America, you know what I mean, and we were still based on the same Constitution and the same Bill of Rights, they would be attacking you. Like, that's where I just agree with you, Jacob. It's not just. I agree with you. They're attacking Christianity because of what Christianity stands for. But I also believe it's because of what Mark said. It's the fundamental group that founded this country. And they got to destroy that and destroy the family unit and become hedonistic. And that's the way we'll get in there and destroy
the basis of Judeo-Christian values allowed for freedom of religion and the freedoms that we have had. So you have to destroy that and replace it in order to destroy our freedoms.
Yeah.
Because I am not here to. Right. Our lawmakers are predominantly white. They're predominantly white. They're predominantly Christian. That's what you're going to attack. All right. If your lawmakers were predominantly black or predominantly Muslim, they'd be attacking that right now. But it is what it is. It's like this has got to fall in order for them to do their great whatever, you know what I mean?
The Great Reset, yeah. Or
Yeah,
how
so-
Jacob just shared this with me. Hollywood is helping them out, and people are like, "Oh,
Oh
dude,
yeah, absolutely.
it is not this." And don't tell me it's the same as the '80s like hair bands that or Ozzy Osbourne. This is they've taken it to the next level, man. They've taken.
Oh,
it to
you're
the
looking at
next...
that what's her name?
Yeah. Oh shit! I did not share it once again.
Yeah,
Let me
there's a
share it with
video.
you guys.
Keep in mind that's her second video in like the last like month that was like full
What
of
the hell
demonic
is
themes
that?
as well.
That's right. It's you know it's
So
it's
corny.
funny. It's comical at this
Yeah.
point. You know how they just like right out in your face, like the Sam Smith guy. You know what I mean? It's like what he did on the Grammys and stuff. They just put that crap out there, man.
Yep.
And it's just like
And the ex-
Because
I mean,
because no one believes in anything, they just go, "Oh, it's just art, bro." It's like, "Oh, they're just trying to get a rise." It's like, okay, everyone. Like, I can understand one or two artists doing it, but why is everyone in the entire industry promoting the exact same thing? Like, well, what's the old saying? Once is a coincidence, twice is a pattern, three times is the agenda.
Right.
Right.
Dig it.
Well, and the other thing is, and the greatest trick the devil ever played was make people believe he doesn't exist. So when you talk about it, people like this will be like, "Oh, stop it! He doesn't exist."
Yeah,
But
you
yet
can
they're
go
giving
even
that symbolic image.
you can go
to
even
children.
a step further from that. Now it's like the devil can clearly stand right in your face, and you would be convinced that he wasn't there.
But see, the thing about it is right, they'll tell you it's all about publicity. You know, people have been trying to be shocking for generations and stuff like that. But you have to look at the fruit that this is bearing. Like I said before, the kids who are digesting this, look at the state that they're in. You think it's a coincidence? You know, the self-harm, the gender confusion, the depression, all of that stuff is part of this. And that's what they're not
Depression's going
seeing.
up, suicides are going up. It's like a whole
That's
bunch
up,
of stuff
man.
that goes to
Divorces, I mean, everything.
yeah.
Yep.
There's no family structure the way that it used to be. You can't say stuff, but you can't say God, but you can say that. You can't represent God, but you can represent that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, people don't see that's just a coincidence.
There's been people who have come out very recently that said that when they've been in the music industry or like the film industry or like fashion or stuff like that they'll have it written in their contracts now that they're not allowed to say the words of Jesus Christ. And people who took note of that, it's like, why would it be written in that contract that I can't say the name Jesus Christ? Like why is that even a thing?
Well, look at that girl from it Black Lightning? She was in Black Lightning, one of the young actresses.
Mhm.
Was it her that came out was like, Hollywood is a satanic place.
Well,
You
there's
do
been a
not-
few people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say this though?
Yes,
I
please.
think it's interesting what Time Prophet is saying, because I've heard that before.
That's
After
what I
40
was gonna
years of
talk
listening to heavy metal, this picture is tame. Was heavy metal geared towards children, specifically like young children?
No.
Like that's an actual legitimate question.
Right.
Was it geared towards grade school children? Because that's what this chick here, that's what they're giving to them.
And this is another thing that
It's a little
I say
different.
too,
Amen.
because like I said, people believe like the lie. So it's like the way that we kind of frame the whole thing of the 1980s. People were noticing what we're noticing now about the music industry back then. But what happened then? They named it, it's all satanic panic. It's just a bunch of wacky Christians finding the devil and everything. And it's like,
Right.
okay, so if you look back at where we were in the 1980s, was it just crazy Christians being crazy Christians, or was it basically the prelude of what we're seeing now? Because you can
because they
argue
stood
that
up in the 80s, it went away. for a
exactly
while.
you can argue that where we're at now has progressed from where we were at the 1980s.
Right. And don't get
But
me wrong,
remember
I
who
love
in
that
the
music.
80s was leading the fight against
Tipper Gore.
rock music? Exactly. And what party did she belong to?
Yeah. Yeah, with the Democrat. Not anymore. They all love it. They all love it. And I just want to say copied Kitty for $5. Thank you. Super chats are always welcome. Great show tonight. Is Mad always so shy yet? And DJ said, oh, he went to the store. Yeah, I think he left us. He was pretty stoned, I think. But yeah, look, and I've gotten people message me like, dude, you're not talking enough about entertainment. It's all wrapped up. That's why we always somehow come to this stuff every few Saturdays. It's because I can't not talk about it. I can't not talk. I have kids.
The problem is that once you see it, you can't unsee it. So
Unsee
you can't
it,
pretend
right.
like it's not there anymore. I think for a long time, to this day, like what we're talking about with the whole with the video we just put up there, people don't want to accept the fact that your favorite celebrities, some of your favorite celebrities, have decided that they're going to choose a side in the war between good and evil, with the payoff being fame and money, and they don't want to accept that because they don't want to accept the implications that comes from that reality. That means there actually is a war of good and evil out there. You may not be on the right side right now.
Yeah, Andy's right about this too. I always love bringing this up. If you really look at Alice Cooper, how much was he into the devil symbology? He was into more of a gothic symbology. So like, yes, he was more into like the S&M little things. It wasn't the figure of the devil as much as I can remember. I've listened to Alice Cooper for years, and he's very Christian. And there's a lot of guys who used to sing, present themselves one way and regret what they did, but they were young and they wanted to be in that heavy metal world. So they followed what the industry wanted them to do. Like, it's a cycle, guys. Yes, you didn't become a Satanist, but do you believe in God anymore? A lot of people that I know that
progression.
Listen, look, people,
these. Go ahead, bro.
Just real quick, I just want to say that there was a guy, Jimmy Levi, who was like a former American Idol guy. He came out in a couple of interviews, basically exposed a lot of the satanic ties of the music industry. He said that his grandmother was a medium who contacted demons for people like Michael Jackson and Elvis, even back in the day. So it's like what we're seeing here is nothing new. Like, this is not something that just happened in the last 5-10 years. This has been going on for decades, centuries, as well as you've gone back. The only thing that's changed is the method that they use to do it.
Right.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, that's the point that I was trying to make. It's like they have all the time in the world to work on this. It goes beyond generations, so you might have seen the beginnings of it, maybe, with metal or whatever the case may be. I hear them talking about, but you have never seen a time like we have today, an all-out attack on the children. And that's where I usually, make my point there with the children, because of course that leads into the future. So you see the children today are being injected with every unholy thing under the sun. And when I say injected, that's a deliberate word. Okay. Yeah. So you see them being, they're injected with everything that is inhuman, everything that is unholy. And this stuff is going to have ramifications as time goes on. Where we are today is exactly where they knew we would be years ago. Yep. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. That's where we are today. That's the danger of it, because we're not treating it that way. We're treating it like it's just music, it's just cartoons, it's just this, it's just that. Our enemies know better. They have weaponized all of this. Yep. And the best thing we can do at least is be clear about recognizing that, but people don't even want to do that. Even if you just throw up your hands and say, oh, well, that's the way it is, what can I do about it? No, because they don't even acknowledge that it's happening. And that's the scary part about it.
And I want to point out something that Odyssey said here, because he said that Elvis was a very religious man, though. That's one of the biggest lies has always been told throughout the history. His
mother was.
That like I said, he came from that background, but he did not stay religious, especially when his career blew up. There was a movie that came out, I think, a couple years ago called Elvis. It was like Austin Butler played him in the film. And even in that film, they were praying out, oh, he was a preacher boy from Memphis, and he was so close to God and whatnot. But it's like, that's not what he professed in his private life. There's been numerous people who have talked about the fact that he was into a very occultic behavior, stuff like that. I mean, we talk about
as a motherfucker, dude.
The drug influences, the adultery. There's so many things there that shows you that Elvis definitely was not.
Don't get me wrong. I think there was a part of Elvis that loved gospel music, and I believe he truly at times
he definitely had those influences in his music, certainly.
Right, but like, look, it wasn't just Jim Morrison who slept with a witch. Like, these guys fell into these dark circles, and the people around them were yes men. So they never tried to stop their friends from going there because they were such massive stars. I mean, John Lennon became a communist. Worse than that, he wanted you to imagine there was no God. He wanted you to imagine, like, imagine
it's right there.
It's the worst song ever, man.
Yeah, I remember the first time I actually like got into the lyrics. You know, you hear this
Yes.
nice tune and the way he sings it. One day I was like, what the fuck?
Right?
You know what I mean? I don't
That's
want
the
to
thing.
imagine this stuff. This is
It
terrible.
is terrifying.
Imagine
said,
there's no people. Okay,
Yes.
then what? How am I imagining that?
Like I said,
It's great.
everyone to a
Just 'cause
certain
you said it so
degree is spiritually blind to a lot of things that are going on. But once you really once you accept the reality of what's happening here, you'll start seeing the world in a completely different light. You can't unsee it at that point.
Yeah. And as we grew, like there was a time where I thought it was smart not to believe in God, but don't worry, even if you don't believe in him, he believes in you. And I truly believe there is an all-powerful being out there. Something had to start everything. And okay, tell me what started the Big Bang. Like you can't scientifically tell me there is no God, right? You can't. So stop with your arrogancy and your ego to believe that there isn't something greater than us. And I don't care, personally, don't kill me on this one, Jacob. I don't care if it was an alien race that crossed our DNA with Neanderthal and we became this. Something created them, you know, and their message was what we got. So there is a God that created everything from the beginning that made us in his likeness. It's just, you could believe in aliens, you could believe in different stories, but there is something that started it all. And I believe the universe has a design. There is a design to it. You know?
I'll say this. A couple weeks ago, we started a Monday night podcast called the Bible Lens Podcast on my channel. And we've been talking about a whole bunch of different things. But the last 3 weeks, we've been covering specifically both Islam and Catholicism.
Yeah.
And there's things that are being taught in both of those religions that once you understand the context, especially how it relates to essentially the end times in the Christian religion, you realize just how dangerous both of those teachings actually are. And then you realize, oh, crap, like 3.6 billion people on the planet are essentially being deceived to something that's going to lead to a very, very bad place when it comes to the end there. So yeah,
the Old Testament kind of like, if you really read the Old Testament at the beginning, like they don't say God in some places, they say gods, small g. Like you gotta,
you know what? It's just the ignorance that gets me sometimes about that. Because look, I understand. I used to do a lot of debates, you know, like religious debates back in the day. You know, I spent a lot of time in the mosque and everything, and I've learned not to do that because people's faith, it's very personal to them and it's very important to them. And I do believe that God leads, or the world leads you where you're supposed to go if you're in touch with your own life and everything. But when you start going after, you know, different faiths and things like that, it can be a dangerous thing to do because people are just too ignorant to handle. Like, in other words, you know, if you talk about, like I said, I used to talk about Islam to people before 9/11. After 9/11, it's become impossible. But, and I know this because it was my experience. I know this for a fact. It changed overnight. So, you know, you talk to people about, let's say you say something about Allah. You know, I hear somebody say, oh, fuck Allah. It's like, man, do you realize that there are that there are so many Christians, Arab Christians, who use the word Allah simply because that's the word, you know, for God. But there are so many freaking ignorant people out here that they put up that wall, you know. So I've learned how to leave that alone, you know, as far as, you know, faith and debating it and everything like that, because I know that there's sprinkles of truth and there are also sprinkles of man-made corruption in just about every organized religion that you can name. So if you go down that road of pointing out what's wrong with Islam or what's wrong with Catholicism, there's a lot of good people who cling to those things, and they're in our audience as well. You know, so it's like if you want to guide them, you guide by example.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the thing, though. It's like, I agree. There are good people who follow these religions, but at the same time, you got to expose not the people. That's the thing, though. You don't want to attack Muslims, right? Or be like they're the problem. It's like, it's not the people that's the problem. It's the beliefs. There's the central belief system that's the problem.
By doing that, you're attacking people that are believing that they, in good faith, are believing in the righteousness of God. Like that, that's where me and you disagree in our Christianity, and I respect how you think, but look, Jesus, in my view, was one of the most chill mofos in the world. Okay.
Yeah.
That dude hung out with anybody and didn't judge them, but he preached to them. Okay. But he was God. Okay.
But here's the other thing. Nobody in the New Testament warned against hell more than Jesus. So
I understand that.
Nobody warned against the deceptions of the world more than him too. And
Right.
a lot of people are comfortable with falling for the deceptions because, like I said, people don't want to hear the truth. People are more comfortable with the lies. And my approach is not to attack the person as if, like, make it like a personal attack. It's like you got to see where these deceptions
Right.
are, because if you keep following the deceptions, it's only going to lead to one path. And it's the broad
I get
path
what
of
you're
destruction.
saying, man. But if you look at the New Testament, look at the people that followed him. They were all flawed. Not all of them really got the message correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went on to create churches, and they did things out of spite against each other. Like, you have to find the message that you believe that is correct. And I can't tell you you're wrong, even though.
Well, like I said, this week, like I said, this Monday, one of our topic for this Monday is essentially going to be the pagan roots of Catholic heresy. And it's kind of the way that the Catholic Church teaches how the events went and how they defeated pagan Rome and turned it into Christian Rome. And then when you find out that the real reality of the details is that that's not exactly how it happened. And there's a lot of deception in the Catholic Church about, essentially what happened with a lot of the saints during certain times. So, they said these are all things that we're planning on covering here. Because,
I'll be watching.
If people don't know the truth about these things, and they think that the whole thing was all made up, or that everyone associated with this group is bad. It's like, no, there's very specific events that happen throughout the course of time, and it is important to let people know about those events so that way they know the truth essentially from the lies there. So
you know what the thing about that is, and I so respect that. But let me tell you something: the Jehovah's Witnesses feel just as strongly in their mission to the point where they go door to door. And how does that work for them? People don't want to know. All right. One thing that that God has promised, and this is something I actually learned through Islam, is that truth is something that will always be presented to you, to each individual who's out here who lives. That's the point of our lives, to be exposed to that great truth. Not the great truth of Islam, not the great truth of Christianity, but the great truth of your creation. Every last person is going to be a witness to that. Now, whether you choose to ignore it or accept it is your God-given choice. And that's the reason why we have a God-given choice. All right. You can show people everything, but whether or not they choose to acknowledge it will always be the question. But never put that burden upon yourself as a human being to think that it's going to be your calling to make people see stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's just not going to happen that way. Like I said, I used to do that when I was a lot younger, when I believed in, this and that. And I wanted people to see this. I wanted people to see that. They saw it. They did not give a damn. Now some people did, because once again, they had it in them. And what I do on my channel a lot of times is that too. If I'm talking about the jab or something like that, it's because I believe so strongly. You need to see what they're doing. You need to see what they're doing. If people don't want to see it, at the end of the day, they just don't. They'll flag my channel. They'll do all types of stuff to shut me up. Right. And I've come to accept that. So all you can do is tell your truth. And like I said, I applaud you for doing that. I applaud Scott. Everybody up here is conscientious, except Matt. He's not here though, but you know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm just saying.
Was Matt ever here? Did he leave? Like, what happened?
For a couple minutes.
I can't remember if he was even here now.
But
I think most of the problem comes from the highly organized religions, because I think that's all about control and making the money to sustain the organized religion. But I think the average person, no matter what religion it is they believe, that they associate themselves with, they believe in doing good for others.
Yep. Core values.
And exactly. And and sharing that love, whether that love, comes from someone they called God, Allah,
tree humping.
Same thing.
Exactly. And honestly, I mean, that's some of the things that brought me away from the Catholic Church is the issues of
people.
Yes, exactly.
It's the people warping the message, or saying the message and not living it true. Just be true to yourself. Be a good person, raise your children right, and I believe God will take you into the next chapter, because I know that energy doesn't cease to exist, and we go somewhere, and I just hope it's not shitty. We're gonna end it there, though. Well, no, please, I want you to end it, Mark, because I love listening to you.
I didn't know you were gonna, but yeah, it's about that time. But no, I was just gonna, give props to the Time Prophet because he's always saying something that gets my mind working. And he says here that he's got too much to do to worry about where he comes from, and and all of that stuff. And my thing is, it's like I always say, I've always said since I was younger, I don't know about what's out there, if there's nothing out there, whatever the case may be, but I do know this is a very short time that we're here. You're absolutely right. And whatever's on that other side will be there a hell of a lot longer than we were here. So you might want to take a little bit of the time that we're here thinking about that possibility. Now, if the conclusion that you come to is that there's nothing, there's no God, there's no anything like that, if that's what your mind can come up with in your consciousness, then I always tell people, at least if you're going to say one prayer, at least pray that you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, because if there is something and you spent no time thinking about it, and you spent no time trying to get in touch with whatever created you, you spend no time being grateful for that, then whatever's on the other side, you could end up being fucked up because you ignored a lot of signs. If you live any amount of time on this earth, you get signs. You get signs of something, whether it's deja vu, whether it's memories, whether it's love, whether it's feeling, whatever the case may be. And that should always be something that makes you ponder deeper about what all of this is. And if all you can come up with is that there's nothing, fine. But if you got one prayer to make, pray that you're right. I always tell people that.
Yeah. And I'll end it with this too. I learned a long time ago, for me, when I take control of my life, it's unmanageable. So I give it up to a higher power because I believe that is my path to the right ending. Because anytime I've taken control, I've screwed it up royally. And, and I believe I have seen enough signs in my life to prove that there is definitely something after this. So, and we could talk about that on an aluminum spork stream, but I appreciate everybody for being here tonight. I also appreciate that we can have conversations like this and then not be like, I'm blocking these guys, or, Jacob's out of control. I'm blocking him. He's nuts. He's a Christian murderer. I respect everybody's feelings on it. I respect what Walton believes because it comes from a place of in his heart. I know it's for good.
And Walton can tell you that there's the same contempt that comes from the groups of our religion and our belief system.
Yes, absolutely.
It's been gatekept just as well as Christianity.
Yep. It's all there. It's all there. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. This is Talking Thinking Random, episode 3. And I hope you guys have a great night. And we're going to go out. You know what? We're going to go out with this once again because it's just my favorite song. That is one of my intros. Have a good night, everybody.
Aluminum Sporking.